I'd like you to meet Gnome, a wonderful fellow who finds himself always in the middle of conversations, even though a lot of people don't see him in his presence. And he said, I'd like to share with you my naughty, naughty, not list when it comes to legacy. And he said, I want to do it because I heard you chatting about legacy as you were entering the house. And I just thought, I've heard lots of things over time, and I'd like to share some ideas with you about this naughty, naughty, not list. From the naughty point of view, he was chatting about from a community, a larger scale, is when you come to think about your legacy as a project and you're wanting to scale it up. What happens is a lot of people get naughty about it because they start to say, well, I know what's best, and I'm going to create something, I'm going to share, and you're going to come to it, right? And he said, well, that's not how it works. And I said, I agree with you. And he said, do you have any more about that you'd like to add? And he says, well, one of the things is that we make a lot of assumptions about community. And often what we've got to do is we've got to start with something a little smaller, test it, see where it takes us, and then move into maybe a bigger project. He says there are exceptions, and I said, okay. He says, when someone has a large amount of money and they give it for, like, say, a hospital wing, or, yeah, there's something to be said for give it, do it, build it, and up it goes, and then see what unfolds from there. But the concept that he was really attempting to get at, and through our conversations, I really started to appreciate where he was going with this naughty component. And I had to look and sort of, where might I have done that myself? And that's where I was thinking about, I'm creating a course. And I'm just going to create the course, put it out there, and people are going to come to it. Well, I found that doesn't happen. Did a little investigative work, and sure enough, as I talk to those who've been successful in creating courses, it doesn't work that way. And it's back to what he was mentioning about, you got to test it out, see what's going on, talk to people, don't make any assumptions, and find out what's there. And that was sage wisdom, and I'm going to take heed to it and think it through. And so in some of the other videos that'll be on the channel, I'll explain a little bit more about how I'm going to do it. And with that, what became evident, clearly evident for me, was to ask, what is legacy when I'm having conversations with others? Listening, figuring out what that might mean from a project point of view, but also from a contributions point of view. And that was the second part he wanted to talk about, which was the naughty one. When it comes to this other version of naughty that you see here, what Gnome was attempting to get to was, there are things that you can do with family and friends and immediate persons in your sphere of influence, or as you grow that sphere of influence, that again, it comes back to don't assume, but really what it's about is sometimes you have to lean into an activity where I can best describe it as, if you were to bunch up some rope and throw it on the ground, and you were to take one end of the rope and someone was to take another end of the rope, and you were to pull it, would it knot or not? It's a team development activity you may have heard of. I used it for years in the work that I was doing. But what becomes interesting is it's where I might pick up, like I may pick up the end over top of the or underneath, and a knot may come about. So I have an opportunity, just like in legacy, I have an opportunity to sort out what I think would be of value and bringing it forward in such a way as to say, from my own experience and expertise, this is something that I found. And that might be a listicle article. It might be a little ebook that solves a problem for people. and I can put that out and sort of see what works with it. So what I'm doing is I'm attempting to not it. What I'm trying to do is unravel it so the knots go away. And I thought that that was an interesting way of looking at it. And when Gnome brought that to me, he said that a lot of conversations that he hears are people are knotting themselves up with each other and not listening to what's actually happening. And it's ruining some of the relationships. And some people might enter the house with a huff, and some people might leave the house with a huff. And he says, a lot of it is you're just figuring out where to pull, how to have those conversations that matter to everyone, and so that you're not going to knot things up for each other. And again, I thought that that was wonderful wisdom that he was bringing forward. And I could just imagine people walking in and out of the house and by him, and getting a sense of those stories that are unfolding. And often what we have to remember here is it's in the day's activities. Don't have to be grand, just simply being in relationship with others, living your legacy that you intend to leave, which is wholehearted, reciprocal, collaborative. And yet often we miss that, and that's unfortunate. So Genome's reminder about Knotty was very helpful. The knot aspect is to figure out what not to be, have, and do so that it doesn't get in your way. Now, I have gotten in my way. I've mentioned that in some other videos. And to get myself on my way, I've been asking myself, will this or will this not get me where I want to go? And what I'm doing is I'm just taking a little breath, a little breather before I move on. So for an example, I was thinking about this the other day. While I may want to write my memoir autobiography, I don't know if it would be of use to others. I don't know if that's a knot. I can still write it because it's going to contribute to who I am. But thinking it through, maybe it's the content and where it goes that may unwrap some knots for people, but I have to really understand, and I really have to understand that it's not in a way that I am prescribing. It's in a way that I'm just sharing a story of what happened for me. These are my lessons learned, and to be able to take it up. So for a number of years now, I've been playing around with my autobiography. I tentatively are calling it Yikes, Stripes, and Zebra Spots. Yeah. I don't know where it's going to go. I'm still playing with it, but I wanted to make sure that I'm not going to just do it for the sake of doing it, is really think through what that might mean. So big thank you to Gnome, and I'm thinking I should add an accent there, maybe another day. I'm wondering, do you think we're brothers from another garden? And comments down below are appreciated. What do you think? What would you add to this? Videos that are here continues your learning, especially the playlist for shorts. Great journaling prompts. And always and in all ways, take care.